Hi Javeria, it's Gwendolyn here. I hope that you're having a good week so far. Really great to see your corrected essays and your error list and then your two new essays. I had a look through those. They looked good. Let's go ahead and look at your next and your last set of essays here, starting with the one here on educational alternatives. I thought you did a good job here of answering the task response. You looked at both sides of the issue. Yeah, let's go ahead and read through it. Yeah, you'll see under where there are red lines mostly means that there is a spelling mistake. Could be depending on if you're using English or American spelling. I think my computer is set to American spelling, so I think there's some words in here which were fine if you're using the UK spelling method. But great, it must be a real challenge to be writing in English and then also typing as well if you've never typed before. Yeah, so yeah, good. I can see how that could be a challenge to type things out if you haven't ever done so before. So good work on that. And yeah, but just do be mindful of those spelling mistakes. Maybe they're not there on your handwriting, but just be careful of them. Let's read through. You're a little long on the word count here, 285. Not too bad, but I do want to try to reduce it down by a few words. So I might give some suggestions on where we can decrease a little bit. So here, let's start with the beginning. Certainly, I would say, I would say, the edge article there, or put in today, something to be in front of current. I would say certainly the current education system abolishes students' creativity, and a new revised system is in an utmost need that many professionals demand now. Yeah, let's look at this. Yeah, I think you can make this a lot more coherent and just concise by either taking out one of these phrases. Either is an utmost need, take out that phrase, or that many professionals demand now. It's kind of two a little bit different phrases and it adds too much complexity to this sentence. I mean, I would be inclined to say, today's current education system abolishes students' creativity and many professionals now demand a new revised system. So remember your structure of your English sentence, which is subject, verb, and object. So I think here really the subject is professionals and the object is a revised system. So I would just change the order of that to make it more concise. There are some positive alternatives that should be introduced into the into the schooling system, as traditional education is no doubt killing natural talents and is killing natural talents. Yeah, I don't think we need to put this in. We could just finish there, make it a little more concise and coherent, help reduce our word count just a little bit. I also am wanting to reduce the word count because I want to add into this important sentence in the introduction, which just says, this essay will look at these issues using examples to demonstrate points. Even if it's just as that simple, but something like that sentence needs to be in your introduction. Okay, let's get your P1. To begin, there are two possible alternatives that should be focused on in schools rather than the same traditional methods. Yeah, you've talked about two. I really would like to keep to just one idea. I mean, you could say there are several possible alternatives that should be focused on in schools rather than the same traditional methods. One example could be student-centered, student, centered. I think it's just the UK spelling there, which is fine. Student-centered learning activities, and developing a and deep learning approach can polish their own creative talents. This way, students will interact with the course material and construct a personal meaning about it, fulfilling the individual needs of learning. Then, innovative assessment strategies can also be the possible alternative to the traditional ways, which encourages them to learn by rote and reiterate the course material to get higher, what you're spelling there, grades. Yeah, I kind of know what you mean here, but I wanted to see how your example fits in and then think about which one of these we take out. For example, highly intellectual legend Albert Einstein, comma, was expelled from his traditional school, which judges the students by what can be achieved by just memorizing. Yeah, let's look at this and I wonder how we can just keep one idea and one example to back up that idea. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think, Javeria, what I would do here is just to keep to one idea. And because your example focuses on this second idea about how doing innovative assessment strategies, I think that's quite interesting, a little bit different. So I would just say, to begin, there are many alternatives that should be focused on schools rather than the same traditional methods. Maybe here you could take that out and say, one area that could be looked at is altering the assessment strategies to find alternative ways that encourage students to learn in ways other than by rote and reiterating the course material to get higher grades. So, and then go on and talk about your example. And then maybe add something in at the bottom, some sort of summarizing statement I would rather see than a second idea. And it could say something like, these alternative assessment methods can help give confidence to students who may otherwise not perform well on traditional grading methods, which may also boost their overall desire to learn, something like that. I get your idea, but I think it just needs to comes across a little more coherent and cohesive. Let's look at your P2. As a matter of fact, the education system, which just came into being in the 20th century, as a result of industrialization. So that's kind of an incomplete sentence there. I'm not sure what else you wanted to add to make that complete. Maybe you could just say, as a matter of fact, the education system just came into being in the 20th century as a result of industrialization. Using this word which symbolizes that you're going to have another phrase or another idea coming on behind that. So if you remove which, it will then make that a complete sentence. So as a matter of fact, the education system just came into being in the 20th century as a result of industrialization. This education system is ruining children's, '(s), natural talents, and just making them ready for career-based further education in this industrialized world. For example, the arts, like singing and dancing, are discouraged by giving minimal attention. Hence, the natural talent of many students is stopped from flourishing at an early stage. The reason being these specialties are not considered to be good career opportunities in the future. To conclude, schools do need a new revolutionized education system, no S there, with many possible alternatives available, as traditional ways are just bringing forward more workers rather than fully equipped, talented individuals, which were required by healthy nations and their societies. Really good conclusion there. I liked your conclusion. Very coherent, cohesive, very relevant to the task response, and also referred back to what you told me. So very strong conclusion there. Good job here. Let's look at your task one. Okay, Javeria, I thought you did a good job on the task response here. You've compared and contrasted the key data. Yeah, really overall good essay. It is a little long, so 193 words. So let's think about where we might be able to cut out a bit of the language. I didn't really see much in this one that I could cut out, but I'll try when I read through it again to see if we can reduce maybe some words here and there. The three pie charts compare the proportions of the Council's expenditure by Yorkshire, Derbyshire and Lancashire in 6 different areas in the UK in the year 2014. So we don't necessarily need this phrasing in the UK. We could just keep it in the year 2014. We'll help reduce your word count a little bit, and then we'll make that sentence a little more concise. So look at these phrases. They're called prepositional phrases when you use words in the UK in the year 2014 in 6 different areas. They give you some additional information. They're great to have. They're always, if you need to reduce your word count, you can always look for them where you've used them and think about whether you really need them to manage to answer the task response. So here, not really necessary here, so you could take that out. Good, and I think that was just transferring over electronically. I think it's because it happens sometimes when you need the apostrophe S there. It is clearly noticeable that all 3 mentioned councils spent considerably more on education and leisure activities, comma, you need a comma here, while the rest of the funds were allocated for community care, social services, environment with an N there, another in almost the same proportion by Yorkshire, Derbyshire and Lancashire in the given year. Good. I've gone too far. It can be seen that almost 30% was spent on education by Yorkshire and Lancashire councils, yet Derbyshire allocated 25% on education of all the funds available in 2014. Okay, let's look at this. You've used education before here and there, so maybe you could say, yeah, Derbyshire allocated 25% of all its available funds in 2014 in the same area. So just changing up some of the word ordering there and different language there to make it a little more concise. However, the same proportion of 25% was allocated by Yorkshire for leisure, while Derbyshire spent 30%, and the same percentage is shown by Lancashire in the same category. Good. What's your spelling? I think it's with an E. Yeah, category. On the other hand, the rest of the 55% was spent on, no article in front of that, the social service there was spent on social services, environment, community care and other by all the 3 councils, and almost at your article there, same proportions. Here again, more than 12% was spent on community care and other, while less than 10% was spent on environment and social services. Maybe you could say something here instead of listing them again. Maybe you could say by the 3 regions in 2014. And again, maybe not. Maybe instead of in the UK, you could just say by the 3 UK regions in 2014. Full stop. Yeah. Just to reduce the word count and not to use the 3 councils or counties again. Good. Javeria, as before, add any mistakes to your error list. Correct these 2 essays with the suggestions given. And go ahead and watch the oh no, we're at the end. I was gonna say I watched the next set of podcasts, but we're at the end. So yeah, go ahead and add any mistakes to your error list. Correct these 2 essays with the suggestions given, and I think you're there or almost thereabouts with that 7.0, Javera. I don't think you're quite there to the 7.0 if I'm honest with you. I think the spelling mistakes and some of the grammatical mistakes I think make you still maybe just a little bit below that 7.0. So what I want to do is to maybe offer you a bit more practice. So what I want to do is give you 2 free more essay checks just to get more practice in, and so you can get a little bit more feedback and maybe hope to improve you a little bit more. Yeah, because I don't think you're quite there yet. I'm not a qualified examiner, so I can't give you an exact score, but I think you're there, almost thereabouts, but I do think you could use some little more feedback and improvement. So to help you with that, we're going to give you 2 free more essay checks. So I'll send those through, so go ahead and write those and get those back to me with your corrected essay and your error list, and I'll have a look at them. Okay, Javeria? Have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing those next 2 essays soon. Bye for now.